Okay, so here is our Celtic Songs app. What we have here is a splash screen. We have a text view called title, string text for Celtic sounds. Uh, our background is in the drawables file. We have a gravity for bottom center, so the text is down here. Splash activity. So we create a timer reference, timer task, and we call it task. Right down here we have the run function. So in the run function, we'll have a finish method that we call to free up memory and close the application. And upon doing that, it will also launch us from the splash activity over to our main activity class. Down here, we set our amount of time delay, so we have a timer called opening, and then we schedule that to what's it, 4,000 milliseconds for basically 4 seconds. And this brings us over here to our main activity. So we have an image view, we have a button, we have another image view, and we have another button. So we declare our variables, declare a button variable, and then we initialize 2 buttons. We have a media player, have 2 media references, and we'll have an int playing that we initialize to 0. On our onCreate, we create button references, so button 1 for the Irish jig, button 2 for bagpipes. We create on-click listeners for button presses that we're going to make just in a second. So button 1 set on-click listener to B Irish jig and then B bagpipes. Create new instances of media players, assign songs to MP jig plus MP bagpipes. So MP jig equals a new media player. Then we have media player dot create this, and then we reference our raw file over here for the jig. And we do the same for the bagpipes MP3s. We don't need to do that because we did that earlier. So create on-click listeners for the British Irish jib, Irish jig. So button on-click listener. This is going to give us a reference for our Irish jig up here for whenever that button is clicked. So for that, whenever it's clicked, we have a switch statement called playing. 2 cases, case 0, case 1. So mpjig.start, this will start up the playing variable gets initialized over to 1 instead of 0 to indicate that the button has been pressed and it's playing. And then we change the display text where they we change the display text whenever it's clicked, and we hide button 2 whenever a button is clicked. So when button 1 is clicked, we set the text to change over to pause Irish jig. And then we set our button 2's visibility over to be invisible, have a break. The next case will be on pause, so whenever the button's clicked, playing will be set to 0. Button 1 will display play Irish jig text, and then button 2 will become visible. Same thing here, just in reverse for our bagpipes button down here. And theoretically, the splash screen should show up, but I'm having a little bit of trouble with it just displaying. I'm not sure. I tried following the book, but yeah, it just doesn't show that anyways. So here's our app. Play Irish jig, should play this music. And it does. Pauses the music. And it does. Gets rid of button 2. Same for button 2. That over here we have our animal voices. So this is our splash screen. Again, we have text view with a background image. We have our text gravity center top. In our splash activity on create, we have our reference for timer tasks. We call it the finish method to clear up some memory, and then we have it switch us over to our main activity from splash activity, the amount of time that we set over here. So we schedule it to be 6,000 milliseconds for 6-second time. And then that brings us over here to our main activity. So image view, button, another image view, another button. So declare variables, button 1, button 2, media player variables, MP cows and MP pigs. Have an int variable called playing, initialize it to 0, on create down here. We reference our button 1 for cows, or button 2 for the pig button. On click listener references, so button 1s will be referencing the B cows statement down here when clicked. Create new media player instances and assign the audio clips. So MP cows equals a new media player, and then we assign it to our raw files cows MP3. Same goes for pigs. We'll go pig MP3. Here, button on click listener for B cows, which will go to our switch statement called playing. Case 0, MP cows will start playing. Playing gets initialized over to 1. Then we have our button text change over to pause the cow sounds, and our button 2's visibility set to be invisible when clicked. The second case for the switch statement will be our pause. So playing will be initialized to 0. Button 1's text will be set to listen to the cows. Button 2's visibility will be set to visible again, and then reverse order for our pigs button. This is what that looks like. Again, no splash screen, not sure why. So, image view, button, image view, and another button, listen to the cows. Button 2's gone. You can pause, listen again. Pause, and then listen to pigs. Button 1 is gone. Pause that. Resume. That's our applications.